Welcome back, everyone. This week, we're going to look into the benefits of partnerships. So, whether it's with a local business, tourism agencies, nonprofits, state or regional organizations, might be universities, or even your competition. There's incredible strength in partnerships, especially with small businesses in rural communities. I mean, that's your neighbors. So, it's really important that we talk about that. We're going to cover the advantages of having these powerful collaborations, why we need them, and then what you can do to get started. So, my name is PJ Wierchanski. I'm one of your hosts today. I'm a full-time communication director at Appalachian State University in Boone, rural Nears, and I have been in the tourism industry for about 20 to 25 years. And I currently work in public relations and various marketing programming for Uplift. And then our other host, Miss Kara Treadway, is our marketing program specialist, our brand expert, our marketing guru. And she is also joining us today and will be managing the chat and also helping along. So if you have questions, thoughts, comments, feel free to include those in the chat and she'll be keeping an eye on those. All right, let's jump in. So today's blueprint. First, we're going to cover what is a purposeful partnership. So that really is the key to understanding the why and how to get started. And we deliberately put in that purposeful because, we know that your time is limited. And so, having purpose to everything that we do is very important. So we'll start with that. Then we're going to go into advantages. So this is where we'll break down several of the benefits and how this can contribute to both your sustainability and overall profitability for your business and organization. And then next, we're going to discuss why we need them. Then we'll get started on where to look to identify a good partner. This can be a challenge. Sometimes our best partners may not be the most obvious choice. So it may be our only choice. It could be someone in another industry or even our competition. And then we'll look at next steps. And then inevitably, there's going to be some challenges. So we will look at overcoming some challenges. We'll present a few of those and then talk about how to manage those unexpected or less desirable roadblocks. And then I've got a few examples that I want to share. These are just some ideas that I've either put into place in the past or just thought would be a great way to kind of put all these ideas together. So, and at that time, I would love for you all to add some of your own partnership stories if you want to share them with us. And then we'll go through key takeaways and then have some time for Q&A or some discussion as well. All right. So, what is a purposeful partnership? So, a purposeful partnership focuses on the synergies between collaborators, but it also leverages the unique strengths and resources of each entity or organization that offers a cohesive and enriching experience to the end user, right? So, your customers, your clients, your guests. And this might include like shared vision, values, maybe complementary offerings or services, and also that underlying desire to benefit each other's overall business well-being. So all of this while being mindful of the importance of sustainability as well as your stakeholder engagement. All right, so purposeful partnerships. Let's look at some of the advantages of these. So, first and foremost, resource sharing, right? So it's not going to be as much on just you. It's a collaborative effort. So these campaigns allow partners to pool their resources. It might be financial, but also think about products and services and labor and expertise. By sharing these resources, everyone can achieve a more significant impact without bearing the full expense on your own. So this cost efficiency will enable even the smallest tourism operators to be able to participate in marketing initiatives that may not otherwise be possible. So think about shared advertising or social media collabs, or it could even be something like sharing a booth at a farmer's market for added exposure. I know at one of the properties that I worked at, we always wanted to advertise in our state because they had the greatest reach, awesome content, but it can be a bit of an investment, so to speak. And so I had worked with the local TDA, and they were able to help, put together a collaborative advertisement where we split the cost between four of us. So that's just kind of an example of resource sharing. All right, another advantage is audience expansion and engagement. So by partnering with other businesses, each participant can tap into the existing customer base of their collaborators. So by having this cross promotion strategy, this helps to expand your reach beyond your typical audience. This also helps to attract new and diverse groups of potential customers. And additionally, collaborative campaigns often offer engaging experiences such as joint events or co-branded promotions, and this can capture the interest and enthusiasm of a much broader audience. And so as long as the partners agree on the terms and conditions, it may even be an effective means of gaining followers, expanding your email newsletter, or even just those who want to visit your restaurant for live music on Friday evenings, for example. All right. Another advantage is being able to create more compelling content. So collaboration brings together diverse perspectives, unique lived experiences, expanded skills and ideas, and this can result in richer, more varied content or offerings. So partners can build off of one another's unique strengths, create more attractive promotional materials, that tell a more multifaceted, multi-layered story. And this appeals to a wider range of interests and preferences. So as you create more content with your partners, you may have opportunities to reshare and repurpose this content in the future. So it's a great way to be able to put some new ideas together and even go back to it later on and reshare it. So here's an idea. So what if you collaborated with a local coffee shop or a food truck to create a pop-up event once a month? So maybe announcing it a few days ahead. It's kind of fun and unexpected. And if it takes off, maybe it's something that you do throughout the summer months or warmer months. All right. It also does greater good. Collaborative campaigns often focus on community-driven initiatives, and these highlight local offerings, maybe local culture or heritage. And so by working together, businesses can amplify their positive impact on the community, and this contributes to the greater good. These socially responsible efforts also typically resonate with potential guests or customers who also value ethical and community-focused brands. And then it builds a positive image. When businesses join forces for a collaborative campaign, their mutual endorsement enhances the other's credibility. And our guests are more likely to trust and respect businesses that are associated with other reliable and well-regarded entities. So that's why it's so important to work with a partner that aligns with your brand and your values. Don't feel limited to just other private entities. It could be a partnership with a nonprofit, local chamber, TDA, or even a community college. I know last week, Carol and I met with Spencer Bost from Spruce Pine, just catching up with him, wanted to learn more about what's new for a possible media trip. And he was telling us about the new Blue Ridge Boutique Hotel. And this is a brand new 32-room hotel that's run by the local community college and hospitality students in Spruce Pine. So I know for me, like if I had a local soap making business or if I made candles or if I was an artist, I might reach out to them to see if there are ways to partner with them. Maybe put my art in the lobby, or if they have a retail shop, see about putting some of my products in the retail store. All right. And this also can mitigate risk. So by reducing your overall investment into a campaign, you reduce your risk of losing, your resources. So if for some reason there's not as much engagement or response, you've only invested half of everything that went into it. And it's not just on you. You've got somebody else to partner with that you might work with, try to enhance it, make it better, and hopefully reach more people and also collect feedback. Hey, I'm starting to not see as much traction with this anymore. Are you all getting some feedback? You get together. There could be some advantages there. And then finally, mutual growth and development. So in addition to building a more positive image, collaborations can also lead to more exposure. This leads to more customers, which leads to higher sales and more business activity in general. So as you reach more people, your product or your offering is more likely to be reviewed, highlighted, featured, valued, respected, and more people will come back for more. All right. So even though the advantages of a partnership may be a reason why we need them, there's also more to that. So, it helps to manage your competition. In rural tourism, partnerships can help manage the competition by fostering a more collaborative environment versus a combative one. So this mentality also helps to create a more unified guest experience versus something that might feel disjointed or discombobulated. Shared experiences can also offer more for visitors to do. So, for example, if me and my family were trying to decide where to stay overnight or visit or just visit for the day, the more that the town or entities offer, the more that you and your partners will likely have someone spend the night. And if people are spending overnight, research has shown that they're going to spend more money, right? So they're going to need to stay and eat dinner, have breakfast in the morning. They're going to look for more things to do. And so by having that more seamless experience, you can get folks to spend a little bit more time with you. It also leads to cost efficiency. So kind of like we mentioned before, shared advertising, promotional costs, shared infrastructure, joint labor costs, and also shared networking. It can enhance the guest experience. So seamless itinerary is one of the things that Uplift really works on, and that a lot of y'all have done with us already is itinerary building. And this covers all the needs of your guests. So maybe it's lodging, food, activities, retail, even transportation can be represented. So for people who have never visited your area, it could be confusing as to how to make a trip out of it. So, if it is confusing or hard to understand, people are likely going to move on to another town or region. So you want to make sure that you've got those partnerships in place to be able to enhance what the guest experience. You also will have access to expertise, perspectives, and more lived experiences. So I don't want to repeat too much here, but this allows more of everyone's skill sets to be shared and utilized. So whether it's cultural insights, innovation, the more that you do this, the more that you're going to reach more people. And then sustainability. With shared costs comes greater chance of profitability. And the more that you can engage, the more your community will likely support you and your partner moving forward. So it can be a really good way to, test a market, maybe a one-off event. So if you've been looking at, say, implementing responsible tourism practices, whether it's waste reduction, energy conservation, or sustainable sourcing, this might be a great way to try it out and not have to bear the full cost. All right, so now we've talked about the advantages. We've talked about why we need them. Let's look at getting started. So where do you look for partners? And if it's not obvious, some of you probably already have partnerships going on, but if you're looking for a new one, here are some ideas. Networking groups and or professional associations. Could be a young professionals group. It could be the Associate Executives of North Carolina. Maybe there's a small business technology development center in your town. Maybe you have a board of directors if you work for a nonprofit, or maybe you serve on a board for a local entity, and that's a great way to get to know other folks. Interest affiliations. I know pickleball has taken off. Maybe you're part of a pickleball league, or a men or women's league, or hiking group, or maybe you ride motorcycles on the weekends and you've got folks in your group that own businesses. This could be a really great way to get to know others. You also have your local chamber or maybe regional chamber or community association. Part of what their job is to connect businesses together. Maybe you go to church with somebody, maybe your kids are in a sports league together, or higher education. Don't be afraid to reach out to the local community college or even the university that's in your town to see if there are ways of partnering with them. I know for me, I was at a property and I reached out to Appalachian State before I started working there. And I was fortunate enough to become a mentor for one of the student groups. And they did an actual project, an ideation project for our property. So it was great. We got to benefit from it. They got the experience and worked out really well for that partnership. All right. So now we've talked about where to look. So how do you identify a good fit? Well, shared values is very important. Whether you all agree on the importance of sustainability or putting your community first, or you both offer quality experiences, maybe it's customer focused. Also, a similar culture. The more that you can align your cultures, the more likely you are to have a really good partnership. Maybe you're all about innovation or a work-life balance, or you really take responsibility very seriously. It could be complementary goods and or services, lodging and attractions, or retail. Maybe there's a museum. Again, lodging's great because they're always looking for things to offer their guests. Shared interest. Maybe both parties support the Great Trail State or Leave No Trace. Maybe you're both into the outdoors. And also a solid reputation. It's great when you can both bring that positive energy and that solid reputation to the partnership. All right. So then next step. So before you make that ask, set some goals and objectives for this partnership. What are you hoping to get out of it? Is it more exposure? Is it just having that credibility? So make sure you put those goals and objectives together first, and then make a list of what you bring to the relationship. It's kind of like putting together your elevator pitch. I think I'd be a really good partner too because I have a great following, or we're very much involved in the community, and I think that was going to really benefit your business as well. And then if you're not already, get involved. This is where you can either volunteer or maybe join a chamber or ask to be a part of some sort of group that would help you to meet more folks. And then do your homework. Once you start pinpointing a potential partner, do a little bit of homework about them so that you have some things to talk about. And then make the ask. Start asking. And you might be surprised. It might be your first ask, and next thing you know, you've got a great partner. All right, so we've talked about all the great stuff and the rainbows and unicorns and everything. Now, of course, challenges do exist, and one of the biggest things, whether any relationship that you're working through, is going to be communication and transparency. Poor communication can lead to mistrust, misunderstandings, and ultimately maybe a not ideal partnership. So be sure to establish clear and reliable communication channels, whether it's email, text, or through regular meetings. Start with a transparent approach, and they will likely do the same. Resource allocation. So this is where you really want to clearly define those roles, those responsibilities, and timelines for completing tasks with one another. Use fair and transparent methods to allocate time and resources. And then boundaries. This is really important. I know for me personally and professionally, ask how they want to be preferred, how they prefer to be communicated with, and how often. Is it via email and you both agree to respond within 24 hours, say during business hours? Do you prefer text? Do they feel the same way? Don't pressure them into what's best for you, as that might start things off a little bit rocky. And then conflict resolution. These issues are inevitable with any relationship. So just be open and honest and forthcoming with the information. Don't let things sit too long and just hope they get better. If you're concerned, create a partnership plan with procedures, check in with your partner often, and make sure that they're happy with it as well. And then one-sided results. I know I've seen this before too, where maybe there's indications that you or the other partner are being left behind. And this can be really tough for both sides. If you're the one that's solely benefiting, then it can be a challenge to maybe keep the other side convinced of keeping things going. Or if you don't seem to see the benefits, it may not feel like it's worth continuing. But try and stay positive. Be happy for the other partner, be upfront, and tell them that you're disappointed, that you may want to make some adjustments. If you seem to be the only one who's gaining followers or business, see if there's anything else that you're missing to make it work for them too. Show them that you care. All right, so let's look at a few examples here. So a bed and breakfast adds room amenities during the weekends to add value to the experience. So the weekends are generally when bed and breakfast or small boutique hotels charge more. And so maybe you work with local artisans who are trying to sell their products. So maybe it's soap or candles or honey or grass-fed beef sticks. The cost of the B&B could be minimal. Partners would have to work out the details, but the guests are going to love the personal touch. And maybe you carry some of these entities in like downstairs little retail shop, and both parties can really benefit from that. Another example is a local gastropub partners with a beekeeper to include honey in several of their cocktails or food offerings. I know for me, after many years of just loving everything that's related to sugar, I'm trying to have more just non or natural sugar. And so honey is a great way for me to be able to enjoy mocktails or types of food that have natural sugar in it. So maybe the restaurant also carries jars of honey, which you can purchase, and that helps both partners. And then one more example, say a well-known local attraction offers a special rate, maybe 15% off for guests of a particular boutique hotel. Maybe it's just during the midweek, and the guests of the hotel will feel special. Local attraction, maybe get more business, and then the guests may also spend more money because they've saved 15%. All right, so we've come to key takeaways. So partnerships definitely are powerful. They can be a great method to expand your reach, create more compelling content, build a positive image, and also mitigate risk while sharing costs, managing the competition, enhancing your guest experience while also building ties with your community. Getting started, it requires you to do a little bit of homework. You might need to set some goals, know where to find a good partner, find one with purpose, identify if they're a good fit, and then make sure that you have some alignment there. Maybe it's goals, values, or just general reputation, because that's key. And then, um, making sure that you take the next steps. That includes setting reasonable goals, pinpointing your strengths and assets so that you can easily and ethically influence the likelihood of a partnership. And then, although challenges are inevitable, being prepared on the front end will likely reduce the number of challenges and allow you and your partner to overcome any challenges that might come up. So we did this last week, and Kara and I would love to do a deeper dive on this subject with you. So if you want to stick around until after the Q&A, we'd be more than happy to set up a time to discuss some of these concepts and suggestions with you a little bit more. Have a wonderful week. Hope it's uneventful and exciting. Thank you all for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Next Monday, we will be back. That's the 29th, correct? Yep. I think Kara's presenting that one. Awesome.